Welcome to a truly magical explainer. Okay, I want you to imagine a beautiful, warm, sunny garden. Right in the middle of all that soft green grass is a bright, super curious 7-year-old girl named Lulu. Now, Lulu absolutely loves building castles and exploring the outdoors. But today, Lulu is going to discover a wild, totally hidden and secret world hiding right under her very own shoes. Let me ask you something. Have you ever heard an ant speak? I mean, it sounds totally impossible, right? But picture this. It's a breezy, perfect afternoon. Lulu is just humming to herself, stacking these colorful plastic blocks in the garden, completely determined to build the biggest castle in the whole wide world. But right as she's about to place a giant block onto the ground, she hears something. It's not a bird. It's not the wind. It's a tiny, tiny little whisper coming straight from the dirt. She hears, right a little, no, left a little, watch out, giant, please don't step on my house with your massive plastic block. Lulu looks down in absolute shock, and guess who she sees? It's an ant. Her name is Felfala. And let me tell you, Felfala is incredibly smart. She talks super fast, and she is just full of buzzing energy. Felfala explains to a wide-eyed Lulu that bugs actually do talk. They speak the beautiful language of nature. The only problem is that we giant humans are usually just way too busy and way too loud to ever hear them. Lulu quickly apologizes for almost squishing Felfala's underground house, and right then and there, an amazing new friendship is born. But think about it. How can a giant 7-year-old girl actually play with a tiny little ant? Well, Felfala has a brilliant secret. It's called silver jasmine nectar. It is a totally magical liquid, and with just one tiny spray, ta-da! It shrinks you down until you are the exact same size as a little bug. Lulu, being the brave adventurer she is, doesn't hesitate for a single second. She wants to see this magical garden from the ground up. So, with a sharp gasp and a sparkling swirl of magic, Lulu shrinks down, 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 right into the dirt. Suddenly, the entire world completely flips upside down. The short, normal blades of lawn grass, they now tower high into the sky like huge swaying palm trees. And those tiny morning dewdrops you usually barely even notice, to Lulu, they look like giant, sparkling crystal balls balancing on the edges of leaves. It's a dizzying, incredibly beautiful, and completely awe-inspiring transformation. But there's absolutely no time for Lulu to just stand around and stare in wonder, because Felfala didn't just bring her down here to play. She brought her here because she desperately needs her help. We're heading right into danger in Breadcrumb Valley. So all that awe and wonder from the magic shrinking spell, it quickly turns into a very serious, very urgent rescue mission. Felfala's entire ant colony is in terrible danger, and Lulu is literally their only hope. So what exactly is the massive emergency? Well, a giant piece of sugar cake has fallen right smack in the middle of their main path. Now, to us giant humans, a dropped piece of cake is just a sweet, silly little accident. But to an ant colony, it's a massive, impassable boulder. It has completely blocked the entrance to their underground kingdom. No one can get in, and no one can get out. And to make matters worse, they are on a terrifying ticking clock. They have exactly 1 hour until the sun sets. You see, that massive sticky cake is blocking the entrance. And what happens at sunset in this garden? The automatic lawn sprinklers turn on. If they don't get that giant sugary boulder out of the way before the sprinklers start spraying, the entire ant kingdom will be flooded and washed away. They have to hurry. Just as they are rushing toward the cake, someone pops out of the tall grass, screaming, "Run! The 6-legged monster is coming!" Who said that? Well, meet Zizo the cockroach. Now, even though cockroaches might look pretty tough, Zizo is hilarious and actually kind of cowardly. His terrifying 6-legged monster turned out to be just a harmless, sleepy little beetle. When Zizo realizes Lulu is a human, he actually trembles in fear, remembering all the scary, stomping shoes that humans wear. But seeing her down at bug size, he admits she actually looks pretty nice. So Zizo officially decides to join the rescue team, even though his knees are totally shaking. Okay, it is time for the ultimate rescue plan. Step 1. They need incredibly strong ropes to pull this heavy cake, so they quickly gather up thick, abandoned spiderwebs from the bushes. Step 2. Lulu might be tiny now, but she still has her dense human strength, so she is going to bravely take the front and lead the pulling. Step 3. They are definitely going to need a lot more power, so they call in a buzzing bee army to push the cake from the back. It's a genuinely brilliant strategy, relying perfectly on everyone's totally unique strengths. And that leads us to the great cake rescue. The team gets into position. Lulu grabs the sticky spiderweb ropes in her tiny hands. 1, 2, pull, she yells. They pull with literally all their might. But suddenly, Zizo stops pulling. Why? Because his blood sugar is spiking, and he is hilariously distracted by how incredibly delicious the sugar cake smells. The cake is just way too heavy, so Lulu bravely looks up and calls out to a swarm of buzzing bees watching from a nearby dandelion, asking if they can use their powerful wings to push. Their response is absolutely amazing. They say, "Of course, neighbors help neighbors." The buzzing bee army flies down and starts pushing with all their might. It is just the most incredible power of cooperation in action. But wait, just as the cake finally starts to budge, a terrifying sound echoes through the giant forest of grass. Tick, tick, tick. Oh no, the garden sprinklers have turned on. Massive water hoses whir to life, spraying giant, crushing drops of water high into the air. Panic immediately sets in. Felfula screams as a huge drop splashes nearby. Lulu shouts over the roaring water, "Push with all your might, now!" With one final mighty team effort, the ants pulling, the bees pushing, Zizo helping, and Lulu giving it everything she has, shh! The giant sugar cake slides right out of the way. Success! The path is finally clear. Just in the absolute nick of time, the entrance to the kingdom is safe from the rushing sprinkler water. You can almost hear the echoing cheers from thousands of tiny insects celebrating their survival. Let's talk about the Queen's Golden Rule. With the crisis completely averted, Felfula invites Lulu down into the quiet, echoing underground tunnels of the Ant Kingdom. In the grand underground chamber, the dignified Queen Ant approaches Lulu, Felfula, and Zizo. She warmly thanks them for saving her kingdom from drowning, and she shares this truly beautiful piece of royal wisdom. She says, "The smallest creatures have the greatest stories. Cooperation makes the impossible possible." The Queen is reminding Lulu and all of us listening to this explainer today that your size absolutely does not dictate your value. Even the tiniest bug has a life, a story, and a purpose. And when we all work together, we can move mountains. Or, giant sugar cakes. To properly thank Lulu for her bravery, the Queen gives her a very special gift, the glass jewel. Now, to a human walking by, it's really just a pretty, colorful little plastic bee dropped in the dirt. But to the ants, it's a royal treasure. The Queen tells Lulu to keep it safe in her room so she will always remember her tiny, courageous friends. But just as Lulu takes the beautiful jewel in her hands, Felfula gasps. The magic of the silver jasmine nectar is starting to wear off. It's time to go back to the giant world. Lulu has to go back, right now. She rushes up out of the dirt tunnel. She feels this strange, tingling, reverse magic pulling at her. Whoosh! In the blink of an eye, Lulu shoots up, up, up. The palm tree grass shrinks rapidly back into normal lawn grass. The crystal ball dewdrops turn back into tiny, normal specks of wetness. Lulu is a regular 7-year-old girl again, standing right by her plastic blocks in the bright sun. She leans down to the dirt and whispers, "Felfula, can you hear me?" And then, a tiny, distant voice floats up from the grass. "I hear you, Giant. I'll wait for you tomorrow by the apple tree. Don't forget to bring a little sugar." It's such a beautiful promise of a lasting friendship. And that brings us to the end of today's fantastic adventure. But the story really doesn't have to stop here. What tiny creature will you look out for in your own garden today? The next time you are playing outside in the dirt, I want you to remember Lulu and Felfula. Remember that under every single leaf and hiding behind every single rock, there might just be a whole secret world full of incredible stories, just waiting for someone kind enough to look closely. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer today. Keep exploring, and I'll see you on our next grand adventure.